Murphy had better start soon, otherwise he might not be able to start at all.
Yeah, I mean, there is a history of some one-sided finals, courtesy of Ronnie Sullivan in this tournament. A couple of whitewashes away. So, you know, if he does get this lead and it continues, then really he could run away with this.
Murphy knew that was dangerous, but felt that he had to take it. He knew that he would be leaving the red to the left of the pink if he missed it.
And didn't he miss it? That was miles away. This red is not straightforward.
That's brought O'Sullivan's pot success rate down to a mere 98%. Plant which almost dropped. The plant was attempted in such a way that he wasn't leaving O'Sullivan a red if it didn't drop in. Murphy intended to have the cue ball tighter to the cushion.
One. A very thin pot, and again the cue ball was under no control, but it's worked out very well. This is where you always feel that Ronnie is so dangerous. At the moment, this looks like a chance to make 40, but within half a dozen shots he might have well, manipulated the situation whereby everything is open. That's where he is so good. Mind you, that was not one of his best positional shots.
For no apparent reason, he leaves the cue ball much closer to the cushion than he intended.
A bit of extra concentration needed on this. Yeah, it's the kind of shot that you don't feel that Ronnie is all that at ease with playing, really, just to drop it in. He couldn't do anything with the cue ball. He's still disappointed about the shot before, really.
Murphy can't get going.
One.
he just could play that into the pack, not guaranteed, but it's a way of opening them if he chooses to. I think that's what he did play, but he didn't judge it all that well.
Timeout.
O'Sullivan claims his first timeout, the first of the 7 that he's permitted.
Yeah, interesting that he chose to use one here, because you'd have felt that if he was going to play the safety shot, it would have been something he could have played in 2 or 3 seconds, just glance off the reds. So I wonder if he's thinking about taking a pot on. There is one to the left centre, but that's not easy. And there's also one up to the top left pocket. So that's why he took the time out, because he's looking to continue the break. Made it look very simple, but it wasn't, I can assure you. Now, I think the red at the bottom of the little cluster will pot, which opens up a few others.
12.
Just a bit of work on for the colour. Just looked at maybe the black, the pink won't pot. Again, you just feel he's just 1 pot away here from
Timeout.
winning the frame, and the second time out in the break. So he's putting plenty into this little contribution. Looks like the blue. It's again hard to control the cue ball from this, and this pot will need some attention.
Even so,
18.
he's unlucky not to have finished better than that.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 18.
I think Murphy can consider that a let-off, not because O'Sullivan missed that long red, because he was pretty unlucky with the positional cannon in potting the blue.
Slightly edgy shot you felt there on the pink, but with awkward cueing. Good shot. Good little shot to keep the break alive. But really this is at the moment which Shaun Murphy needs to get his game back together. Needs to win the frame from this. 4-0 down. Looks very bad under the circumstances.
12.
Circumstances being that Ronnie O'Sullivan is playing very well.
18. 19.
'Well, it's a good chance, but there are one or two slight hurdles. That red is the nuisance red, really. Just it's covering the black, and it's not potable to the left corner, so it will be shortly when this red's down. He needs to get that red out of play and get the black open. No, he got a bad contact there. That's all he needed.
26.
He's actually on the pink, but it was a definite kick. He just had a look at that red by the black, the one that I mentioned, and I think it actually will pot. So that's his best chance of winning the frame from this visit if he can get on it at some point. Well, he must have taken his eye off that one, Clive.
Shaun Murphy, 32.
That's the third easy ball that Murphy has missed in this final.
Yeah, and these are like 99 out of 100 shots, aren't they, for someone of this standard?
One. 7. 8. 14. 15.
Sullivan can cannon the red now, potting the pink.
Ooh, not the best of efforts, actually, was it? It looked a certainty to Clive to just push it into open
21.
play. So this is now quite difficult, this red. I just feel that this is a very crucial frame now. It's a scrappy frame, that's the first thing, and they all count, but really Shaun Murphy desperately wants to win this one.
Not as easy as some of the balls he's missed, but Murphy would normally pot that.
Unfortunately, the easy misses that keep going and going astray, they play on your mind, and shots like the last one, which were not that easy, but you'd fancy him for. You've still got that doubt there from what's happened previous shots.
And you can see how fiercely determined O'Sullivan is to win this frame. If Murphy could win it, despite all the mistakes he's made, it would boost his confidence. And would, of course, avert the fear of the dreaded whitewash.
hit. It's just a question of the speed he plays it at, really. Just pushing it up the table. And I think he'll be delighted with that shot. Once again, it's the kind of shot that Shaun Murphy does not like to refuse. But this is the one he needs to get. He missed an awful lot of these so far.
What a difference a day makes for Murphy. Hardly missed a ball last evening, and he ended the match on 464 unanswered points. Today, as the phrase goes, you can't pot a ball.
Time out.
But well, the game has never changed in that capacity, has it? You never quite know what's coming next. Sometimes, after a really good performance, there's only one way you can go, and that's down. And if he doesn't get out of this snooker, then he's in all sorts of bother. It's not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination, this.
And it's not the sort of escape from which you can play a glancing escape. Cue ball and red likely to still be pretty close together, even if he does make contact.
Well, it's one of these snookers that'll be quite interesting should he miss it, whether Paul Collier decides that this is going to be a miss, because I think this is a mighty difficult one to hit. Of course, he could do with getting close to it or hitting it. This is a very difficult one. And what's the verdict going to be?
Foul for the miss, Ronnie Sullivan 4.
I think that's a hard snooker, personally. I've got to say that.
I agree, Neil, but I guess the contrary argument would be, why should the non-offender get a lesser penalty from leaving a tough snooker than an easier one?
Something like that is what he's playing with the spider. Something like that. It would slide off the bottom cushion, or the side cushion, the last of those. That's what he's aiming for. Great shot.
When Sky broadcast the one-frame shootout in January, there won't be any misrule. It will be ball in hand for the non-offender anywhere he chooses after any foul by his opponent.
8.
A rule borrowed
10.
from Poole. Not such a dominant frame from O'Sullivan, a scrappy frame even. But Murphy still made
22.
more mistakes and also had the worst of the safety exchanges.
28.
So different way to go about it, but the result is still the same. Frame to O'Sullivan.